What jobs doesn't exist but should? The other day I needed a tree fluffer for my artificial Christmas tree. It's a very seasonal job, it'll grant you, and they do, have to be called a fluffer. Because I think it's funny. My grandma calls it poofing the tree. Question 1. Are you a poofter? Teenage marketing consultant. Basically a 14-year-old who is paid to hear marketing slogans and trademark names, in case of rude and funny double meanings in modern slang, that the wealthy middle-aged executives wouldn't think of. If he laughs, you take it back to the drawing board. We have to figure out why focus groups fail then. For the knitters and crocheters, someone that will spend the necessary hours on Ravelry in the net to find you the perfect pattern for your quantity of yarn in your preferred craft. I'd pay money for this. This is a great idea, kinda like a super cook for crafts. A person that helps you pick what to watch on Netflix before your food gets cold. I've often known Netflix should have an option to go to the Netflix channel and it'll be like a normal TV channel, showing shows and you just watch what's on at that time. Like flicking on normal TV and catching the last 25 minutes of Blue Bloods because Donnie Wahlberg is in it. A teacher that teaches parents how to parent. So parenting classes? Theoretically sounds great, but in practice it's incredibly difficult. I'm childless, but over the past 14 years I've dealt with countless kids and teenagers. The moment any parent finds out I got no kids of my own, I'm no longer an expert on kids and teenagers. I was a nanny and helped raise 3 children. The parents treated me like a third parent in their home and made me godmother to the youngest. But nope, I don't know anything about children. And to one colleague apparently thought for years I didn't even like kids. Because I'm a childless, single adult. Someone who digs through old law codes and finds obscure laws still on the books we should repeal. Fun fact. It was legal to kill Mormons in Missouri until the 25th of June 1976. Edit. It's like something straight out Star Wars. Missouri Executive Order 44. The Mormon Extermination Order was passed in 1838 in order to drive them out for the public peace. Similarly, it was not only legal, but mandatory in the West Fjords of Iceland to kill any Basque person on sight until 2015. Proactive, state-run employer inspectors. They would show up unannounced to any business and should have the right to ask multiple employees in private any questions about their conditions, hours, wage, pay stubs, etc. So much wage theft and employee abuse could be prevented through this. It would take the onus of reaching out away from the scared workers, while at the same time serve to inform many who may not even know they are being exploited illegally. A nice woman who can stop by each night to tuck you in, stroke your hair and say, "Good night my little boy, sweet dreams, I love you," and you could reply, "I love you too mom. See you tomorrow. Good night. AWW. You okay, buddy?" The one who taps the printer when it's stopped while I'm taking a bath. Mental health clinicians to assist police. Bitch slapping mask enforcer. Social media proofreader. To many people volunteer for that one for it to become a paying job. Mobile/internet/YouTube advertisement inspector. Before the ad gets online, it needs to be checked if it doesn't violate any laws, like false advertising, showing adult themes and maybe bad ads that are just too stupid. Seriously, advertisement on phones and maybe on other platforms is getting out of hand. You don't see any normal ad if you don't have a block or you just want to support YouTubers by disabling ads. Bird lawyer. It's just that bird law in this country, it's not governed by reason. Low Earth orbit trash collector. Technically, all trash collectors fit this description. Political and government enforcement. A group of people who make sure that the shit that politicians do unlawfully or illegally or to benefit themselves is prevented. Isn't that why the US is separated into 3 branches or whatever? To keep each other in check? At some point they collude. Worker placement officials. PPL who can't get a job are checked for skills and offered either training and/or placement if they wish. This will give the unemployed hope and keep PPL productive, leading to more tax dollars generated. This is what Job Center does in my country. The issue is the majority of unemployed people don't want to work. The only jobs most of them can get are awful, cleaners, laborers etc. since they have no qualifications and no wish to get any. If job seekers allowance wasn't so easy to claim and didn't pay so much, $500 a month, then most unemployed people would have to find a job. There's no wonder the economy is on its ass. Superhero, like a serious full-time vigilante position. Someone that delete Facebook account of dead people because there is a lot of them, or verified the deaths so they can be converted into the memorialized pages. This is like delete my browser history when dying. A puncher, a big dude to punch assholes for you. I don't want my asshole punched. Customer slapper, it's like a security guard, but for retail workers who get harassed by annoying customers. Grammar police. Glad to see him not the only one bothered by the title. A fourth emergency service called Mental Health Response. They can diagnose mental illness and establish an appropriate treatment plan. They have safe places they can refer people to. They have protection teams that can make a situation safe, restrain a patient if necessary. They have access to mental health units to take emergency patients to equals no draining the police and ambulance service, and they can get on with their jobs and resources available to treat mental health issues effectively. Public attorneys for representing low-income individuals in civil suits. Book slappers. Whenever movie/TV producers or directors try to add something that's contrary to the book slapper applies the book to their face. Wallet inspector. Too much supply, but not enough demand. Scam call centers. A master masturbator. This person will be certificated to work in a masturbatorium. Is he like a tastemaka for porn? School career counselor. They seem to exist, but they don't really. Morality police on transit. Oh no, the Karens have formed a union and have military grade equipment now. I just want to see people get their ass beat for putting their bags on empty seats. Referee for pickup games. I've seen people almost get into actual fights over a travel. Someone to emotionally help homeless people for free. Anonymous conversation cafes. Host cafes should be a thing in the Western world. No creepy sexual themes. Just tea and a no strings attached conversation. It doesn't have to be with a worker. You can just put tables for two and match the customers depending on a short survey. No real names. No ulterior motives. No dating. Just an anonymous conversation. Hugging. There are actually professional cuddlers in Japan. People pay to just go lay down with someone and cuddle. That's just sad. We should get paid for sleeping, but we don't, because it's just snoring and annoying. I know this job does exist in some countries, but professional scouter/troop leader, if I won the lottery, hands down would do this full time. Animal lawyer. This exists. Certain animal charities will hire them. People will report abused or neglected animals, and they defend it. An entire government agency made up of white hat hackers and security specialists. Their only job is to probe important government/government contractor systems and expose vulnerabilities. They could also lease their services for a fee to private companies, since the exposure to non-government software and techniques would help keep the agency's skills up to snuff. There are companies that do penetration tests into secure systems. A guy who is certified to be able to accompany you on a drug trip and explain to you about substances and their uses and risks. Don't have a bad trip and everything is very professional and trained so you can avoid many problems and inform. I think there should be special instructors in schools and the like to help people like me who are on the autistic spectrum. Example, all the nonverbals that neurotypicals can recognize from a person, but an instinct that people on the spectrum weren't born with. Perhaps some people like this already exist. It's been ages since I was in school. Diagnosed at 27. There should be more jobs for people answering phones. I would much rather speak with a person than a robot. Toilet paper refiller. No longer will you forget to place the roll and have to either sit there for an hour while you dry, wipe it with your hands, and speak not of it again. Use anything in reach, including but not limited to your new cat. or cry because you live alone and have no one to give you a new role. Jokes aside though, I think that, at least in the United States, IDK, if this exists in the restaurant of the world or not, there needs to be a doctor/professional that specializes in penises and the male reproductive system the same way there is one for women. It's stupid and bad that men have no specialist to go to for a lot of penis specific problems the way women do. This is called a urologist. A Karen stopper. Not a security guard or police officer. A Karen stopper. They have guns which shoot masks on Karen's faces and shuts them up. Or just guns, if mask firing devices aren't feasible. Karen slapper. Glycemic index checker. Doctor. Leg scratcher. And back theft. It should be actual profession. Like under some circumstances it would bring more use than harm. I guess it would be similar to Terry Pratchett's Thieves Guild. Like those cybersecurity people who will hack the company and then get paid big bucks to fix the problems. Federal cringe inspector. Discord mod. Someone to smack a salesperson in the face every time they lie. Someone to attend family gatherings and decide horse, right until Aunt Jane drank enough. Undercover student/teacher that evaluate teachers. I want the job of ethical cocaine sniffer guy. Wonder how much it pays. Someone who narrates someone else's life, like in the Stanley's parable. Low budget life coach. I recently met a man who wouldn't wipe his ass or wash his dick because touching dicks and butts is hella gay bro. I feel like this could have been prevented by a basic professional conversion. Worrying. Genuinely worrying. For others. A person I could hire to find a job for me, only I can't pay them until they find me a job. A trustworthy person who enters your house, wakes you up delicately, makes sure you get into the shower, and goes on to the next client. This for those of us who struggle waking up early or to help get into the habit. Could have the additional service of getting you to the gym. School for proper parenting. Kidding. Health coach for beginners and kids. Oh wait, it exists? Well, they should be cheaper. People should get them as a basic thing in life and they should do what they ducking tell them to do. My dream job. Quality assurance engineer for a chain of high class brothels. A person who breaks up fights in public bars, street etc. You name it. Professional belly rubber for my dogs. Since IWFH, they are insatiable. It's hard to get things done. Yoga pants police. Universal companions for all people of all ages. Tea maker. Licensed divagina. Reddit would be a much more peaceful place. Porn star scout. Psychedelic guide. Someone who can spray people who talk in cinemas with water. Bonus sprays if they are on their phones. Cum filtration work. They just get the cum out of you, and you don't have to bother ejaculating and cleaning up the mess. Someone who walks with you, or a dog for hire. Walking home as a woman. Hiking in wilderness or pretty much any solo outside activity would be 10 times more fun and less scary if there were people that would lend you a Rottweiler or a Doberman to walk with, and you can just return them the next day. I see how trusting strangers with an animal could be a bad idea though. So I think the same could be done with a person, like a martial artist or just a big scary person to walk with, and obviously good background checks and insurance by the firm that ensures the big scary guy's not actually harmful. A silencer breaker, a person who will check in on you once or twice per day so you have some motivation to keep feeding yourself and doing your assignment in depressive times. I will never trust or afford therapy. But I would pay for a service that says, hey, did you eat today? Or how are the assignments going? Is the cat well? Once in a while. There are times I don't speak with another human being for days. Stupidity wardens. People should be fined for being stupid. It would create vast amounts of revenue for the government. An employee in grocery stores whose job is specifically to go off on rude customers. Like if someone made one of the cashiers cry. This person just rips into them until they get fed up and leave the store. Every shift would have one or two of them. Depending on how badly they are needed, it probably wouldn't be a long-term position. On account of people probably learning very quickly what behavior is and is not acceptable. But it would be very fun. Small adults hired to act as babies to train responsible parents. Cry all night, shit their pants and climb to places they are not supposed to. Someone who you pay to find something. Like here, have his money and find my TV remote. Someone who's associated with police or CPS to take young children that parents allow to roam freely in stores, parking lots, hide them until the parent loses their mind, then give them back. Service to scare the parents enough to pay attention and watch their children better. Ambulance and full-timer dogs, they deserve it. Psychology in street, in case you have a crisis while you're walking. Someone you can yell at to get rid of stress. I've never heard of a social skills counselor for adults. Given we've been in such a virtual world, I'm not even sure how applicable a face-to-face social skills session would be in this day of age. But either way, I've still never heard of one. I've heard of guidance counselors, marriage counselors, financial counselors, and literally every other type of counselor, except this one. An army of professional fact checkers. Medical mentor. It's someone who may check in after appointments to ensure that patients follow through on recommendations from doctors about exercise, nutrition, or medications, and help people navigate barriers that may be keeping them from success. Twitter mods. Professional morale booster. Basically a person that just comes into the workplace and reminds you that things could be worse, while also being sympathetic to the unique problems in your company. A job where someone searches for a good job for you. Appropriate dress police. A police that judge people if they are wearing an appropriate dress or no in a certain area. If they don't wear an appropriate dress, then they are not allowed to enter the city, and they are supposed to stationed at the borders of the city/country. Like, in Area 1, appropriate level 1, must not expose a certain area. In Area 2, appropriate level 2, allowed to expose a certain area. In Area 3, appropriate level 3, allowed to wear whatever they want with limitations. People nowadays are too free of whatever they want to wear. That freedom is not good for morals. That's why we need these kind of laws and police. Anti-gravity machine rental clerk. Hunter of billionaires. Taco eater. Just eat tacos like a fat slob and duck the world. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.